to tell people about technology and social media in general. So they'll break a lot of stories. They'll let people know different tools and tips that they can use. And I think it's a great resource for people. So that's one of the sites that I definitely encourage you to peruse, visit on a regular basis. And that, again, is Mashable. And you can find them online on everything with Mashable on Twitter. And it's Mashable. So if you want to follow them, feel free to do that. In addition, we love photos. I do anyway. Does anybody post photos up here? Yeah, we love photos. So with that, feel free to take photos of us and anything that you find interesting during the presentation and post them online with the hashtag, which is SMDay. And what happens with that hashtag is it aggregates with everything else and everyone else in the world that is attending and hosting Social Media Day events today. Today will be a question and answer. So I'll ask them some questions, they'll answer some questions. And then if you have questions that you want to ask that we haven't, put out in the world, feel free to raise your hand and we'll go ahead and ask those questions that you have. And if you need them to expound on anything that they've already said, please feel free to do that as well. Now, I just want to take the time to introduce to you our lovely panelists, lovely and handsome, okay? Either way, our first panelist that is right here is Mr. Derrick Spruiell, and his company is Mindset Marketing. He's focused on delivering profitable sales leads. Not just leads, but profitable sales leads, because that definitely makes a difference. Has anybody ever had leads that led nowhere? Yay, those are terrible. So that's not what he specializes in. Over the last 7 years, he's been in business. He's come to realize that all of this online marketing is valuable. So if you haven't figured out that it is a valuable tool, this is your time to learn that today. And it has to do the job in order for it to be valuable for you. The problem is there's a huge misconception of what an online marketing job is. And so we're going to hopefully clear that up for you today. Mindset Marketing defines success if the online marketing tactic is used to produce profitable sales leads. They do this because they know that getting profitable sales leads is the lifeblood of every company, and their system keeps the focus on this at all times. So please put your hands together for Mr. Derrick Spruiell. You're the first one. They got to warm up. They got to warm up, right? Okay, but everybody see they got lunch. We gave them drinks, so they should be okay. Got 5 more minutes? Okay. Our next panelist is Kristen, Daukas, and she is the Director of Social Media and Digital Marketing for Atlantic WebWorks, where she is responsible for all aspects of creating social media marketing plans and strategies, which help their clients' brand and companies in a cohesive and engaging way, ensuring that they achieve maximum results. Now, I've met her before, and I just said that I just love her, and I'm so glad that she said she was going to come out. She's very passionate about technology, social media, blogging, client services, and community involvement. She's a well-known blogger and was a top 5 finalist in the 2012 Shorty Awards, which is an international award recognizing the best in social media. Wow. She's also an active member of the local community. She served 2 terms as the president of Professional Women in Winston-Salem and is the co-founder of Linking Winston-Salem and is currently serving as the vice president for Converge South, a technology conference held in the Triad each October. In addition to her presentations to professional organizations, she also frequently speaks to groups on technology, social media, and parenting today's connected child. So if we have any parents in here, you may want to go over there, give her a little nudge while she's here, because I'm sure she'll have some great tips for you. You can put your hands together for Ms. Kristen Daukas. All right, and our next lovely lady that we have is Ms. Lane Jones. She's a content marketing strategist, and her company is FreshTakeOnContent.com. Lane is a social media marketing strategist who works one-on-one with business owners to use branded content, their website, and social media to make money online. So if you're interested in that, her specialty is ad management and media buying, translation. She can help you make money with ads on Facebook and Twitter. Recently featured on Social Media Examiner for her tips on using images to promote your business on social media. These days, you can find Lane behind the screen of her MacBook Pro, actively managing her clients' social media campaigns, or live tweeting during church and events. Okay? I think guys are right with that.
Yeah.
Yes, I posted something about people
spreading the gospel.
Yeah, spreading the gospel.
Okay,
all
spreading
over
the gospel.
Right.
That's what she's
One
doing.
tweet at a time.
Yes. I don't know if you guys have
Breaking down the barriers.
Main newspaper article yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, in the News and Record
Uh-huh.
was they interviewed 3 or 4 different churches saying they're encouraging
people to tweet
Yeah.
and do stuff. Okay, well there you go. So now if you don't know that, bring your phone to church and tell them that Lane sent you. Or whoever else. Okay, all right, give it up for Lane. And our final panelist for the day is Mr. Mitch Miles. Okay, what he does, he is a creative strategist, a visionary leader, and a professional speaker. He helps individuals and small businesses to connect with others through digital media so that they can find their passion, grow their business, and reach their goals. As a well-respected strategist, speaker, and leader in the areas of social media marketing, creative branding, and client-employee engagement, Mitch brings diverse experience and expertise with a number of industries, all centered on engaging clients, brands, and audience. Among clients, colleagues, and those in the community, Mitch is considered a powerful communicator, strategic connector, and results-driven leader with a creative heart and mind. As the president of the 26.2 Group, an organization dedicated to teaching and coaching professionals how to have a marathon mentality, Mitch is often found coaching, speaking, and influencing others in and through various social media networking technologies. Please put your hands together for Mr. Mitch Miles. And finally, the best person that's here today is me. So I'm Chisa Pennix-Brown. You can put your hands together now. Yay, me! I'm just playing. Everybody's great. And one of the great things that I love about this opportunity is working with GTCC. So I would like to recognize, she's not in the room, but I'm sure she's probably in her office, Ms. Darlinda Finch, because she is the one that helped put this event together. And we come up with all of these great, wonderful ideas and classes that are not a part of the original curriculum. However, we feel that these things will definitely enhance you, and so I definitely want to give it up to Darlinda and then also her boss, Mark Hagenboo. So put it together, put your hands together, because they are what made this class possible today, and I'm so glad that you all are here. I'm sure you're all here for different reasons. And so just to kind of get familiar with the crowd, what made you want to come out today? Anybody?
I want to improve my social media skills.
Okay. All right. Anybody?
And help some friends that could be here.
Okay. Anybody else?
Improve my social media skills. I'm on a lot of social media, but there's always something new to learn.
Yes, and it's always something new that comes out like every day too. So yes. Okay. Anybody else? What made you really come out today?
I volunteer with the Youth Nonprofit Sports Program, and we have some social media sites, but we are not utilizing as best as we probably should. So I wanted to get more information.
Okay, all right, and that's exactly what we're going to help you do today. So I have a host of questions here, and like I said, if you feel like after we've asked these questions that there are other things that you want to ask for, more in-depth things that you want to get into, take into consideration that this is general, and this is not necessarily a class where we're teaching you a particular medium. So some of the questions that you're asking may have to be kind of offline because it may be a little bit more just geared towards you. But in general, we're going to ask these questions, and if you have something that can be, beneficial to the whole group, we'd love for you to ask it. So I'm going to start with you, Derrick, and then we'll just go down the line. What is your favorite social media outlet and why?
For sure. It's your turn. Okay, let's start out cheat on that one. All right, thank you. I believe Facebook is probably my favorite. One of the reasons most people are on Facebook than most other media, so Facebook would be my favorite.
Okay.
Why? The average person get their news from Facebook, especially teenagers. About 60% of them get their news from Facebook. So if you have newsworthy type of events or information, the media is there for them. The 1.2 billion people that's on Facebook, half of them on every other day. So the population is there. That's the main reason.
Okay. What about you, Kristen?
Twitter.
Okay.
Hands down. I find it's easier to control. There's no barriers, there's no walls. There's nothing to stop me from following someone, whereas you can't do that on Facebook. So I have made more connections and have received more opportunities and have met more people through Twitter alone.
Okay. Lane?
Only one.
What favorite? So we need just your top one.
Favorite.
Most favorite.
Okay.
Is you can add that on.
Instagram.
Okay.
It's the one I have the least followers on, but it's the one I can be the most creative with. And with my
brand, I'm such a techie that people don't care necessarily that I have to put PHP together with HTML and CSS to build a website. That's not interesting. But what's interesting is when I say good morning, there's a pretty flower and a bunch of colors, and that actually does help me grow my business because people get to see my personality where they don't necessarily get to see that when I'm, behind the scenes. So Instagram is becoming my favorite and I'm using it a lot more. But I have to say that because I started out the way I did, Facebook was my go-to social media because that's where I got my first couple of clients from. But Instagram allows me to be more creative and expressive and reach out to people on a more outside of the business, more of a personal level. And I think that's what social media is about. Mitch?
LinkedIn, hands down for me, LinkedIn. Love it because it's professional. So there's not many distractions that go on in LinkedIn. And so it's pretty dedicated to business. And what I find is certainly the articles, the topics, the discussions, the people that you can follow, pretty much obey or stick to business conversation. And it's not littered by political and religious statements. It's also not littered by unnecessary photos. So it's a business platform.
Okay, all right. Now I want to poll the audience and just see what is your favorite thing. So everybody, that your favorite social media outlet is Facebook. Raise your hand. Okay, so seven of you. Okay, and then what about Twitter? 3. Okay, and then what about Instagram?
2.
Okay, so 2. And then what about LinkedIn? How do you have 3 favorites? You See, that's why she needs help.
You have to stick by the same rules.
3 times.
Yeah, right? I was like, girl, you throw my numbers off. Okay, so we have 4, 3, and 2. Okay, and I think that you can tell that that's kind of representative. So if you don't have a favorite, is that because you're not online? Audience?
We need to liven everybody up.
Yeah,
a
no,
little
I'm gonna
bit,
have to bring the
right?
tambourine
You have to bring the
back out.
tambourine back out.
I've got all kinds of things and everything. Okay, so this is an interactive class. Let me bring that back. Put it this way. The best way to help you learn is for you to give us feedback because there could be something that you say that triggers something in one of their brains where they can help you. Like maybe you really don't like something, but they can tell you what the reason is that you should be using that particular medium. So I'm gonna ask you again. Are you not on social media at all, or is there a reason that you don't have a favorite?
A question related to it, and I think this is a perfect example because you said, what is your favorite? And we got 4 different answers. So I think some people who are new or exploring social media, they might be very confused.
Okay.
Because they don't know which direction to go. Where do I put which message? And I sort of have that problem myself because I'm starting a business. So I use the Facebook for the personal, and I use the Twitter for just sort of the random thoughts. And now I'm trying to use LinkedIn for more the professional connections and business-related topics that I post. And so I'm trying to figure out where is my brand umbrella and where do I use each one of these vehicles to promote my business, or do I keep some of them on the personal side?
Okay. So we'll throw that question back over to the panelists.
Where I start is who's your audience? Who's your audience? Where are they spending time? What's important to them? You've got all the knowledge about your product or service, whatever you're going to be selling, but really take the time to invest in understanding and knowing your audience, and then you can decide, which social media is going to be the appropriate social media or where they're spending time. It may be that LinkedIn is not even on their map. I would think, with your comment about working with youth, they're probably not on LinkedIn, so I wouldn't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn there. So audience.
And when you say audience, you mean your target market?
Correct. Yes.
The other thing I would like to mention is that, there are tools that allow you to post in one and go to another. So you don't have to spend, an hour here and then an hour here and an hour here. You can actually use the tools available, and Chisa is expert and tell you the great tools to use. She uses all those. And the other thing is take time to pre-write some of your posts. Don't every day. So just like maybe a Sunday, say I'm going to spend 4 hours watching TV, writing a month worth of posts, where you can schedule those out so you won't spend so much time on a daily basis. But use your tools, which is the monitoring, where you're actually able to schedule them out, and also spend time where you can also just have time where you can do a bulk number of posts at one time. And then during the day, spend some time where you can go in and interact with some of those posts. But if you, I think he mentioned before, pick your audience. But a lot of times you don't know your audience in the beginning where you are right now, and they're going to gravitate to one of them, and then you're going to gravitate to one of them. But you don't want to leave yourself outward because you like one better than the other one. So if you're able to use these monitoring tools to come back and let you see what the audience are saying, that's going to help you as well.
Okay, and that kind of segues right into our next question, because I know that each one of them has totally different types of clients, and so that will also make a difference in the things that they suggest to their clients. So, Kristen, what would you say is the most useful outlets for the majority of your clients? If you could tell us, like, who do you kind of work for, to give us an idea of why, maybe that particular client works on a better platform.
Well, we have a wide range of them. We have B2B, B2C, small businesses, large businesses. So really, the key thing is understanding your strategy. And whereas there's a fine line between running social media and let it run you, and scheduling some of the posts is very helpful, but you don't want that to be your only means. So understanding why you're doing what you're doing, I always start at the end. What is the end result? What is the thing that you want to accomplish? And it's just like anything else. I mean, if your ultimate goal is to build this beautiful chocolate cake, you're not going to use strawberries as your ingredient, right? You need to understand, if the end result is your chocolate cake, then what do we need to do to put it together and work backwards from there? So if your end result is I need more brand awareness, then you're going to be across all the boards. It's going to be images and videos and things that people like. I'm a huge proponent of blogging, and I think that's kind of the forgotten stepchild. And it was very popular many years ago. Then it kind of went to the wayside when everybody was into these microblogs, which is what Twitter is, which is what Tumblr is. They're all microblogs. They're like taking all that into this short 7-second snippet of information. So it really just depends on what your ultimate goal is. And there is no one client of ours that has the same formula. I mean, it can't be. I mean, this is not, set it and forget it stuff. This is very customized, very hands-on, and you have to be, and people come to us because they get in there and they realize they have no idea what they're doing, nor do they have the time to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's a definite thing, because social media, a lot of it is free, but then you have to give up your time in order to do it, and that's one of the things to take into consideration. Now, Lane, you work with a lot of small businesses as well, and Lane also teaches down at ACC, so feel free to take any of her classes if you're down at Alamance Community College. What do you find that a lot of your small businesses, if they're in the startup stage, what do they want to gravitate to?
I think that what happens is it's kind of what Kristen's mentioned about the blog. It's inside the blog is contained inside of a website. And so what happens with me is people want to be on Facebook because they see everybody else on Facebook. People are actually successful on Facebook and they see that, so they want that, but they forget there's a back step that you have to take a step back and say, what is my message? And what is my business really? Because if I can't communicate that to a 3 or 4-year-old, I can't be on social media, and they don't understand you need a platform that says what your message is first before you can even go to social media. Because what happens on social media, because it's so quick and so fast, you don't have a lot of time to actually communicate what you really are and who you really are about. So what happens is people come to me and say, oh, I want to be on Facebook because I want to promote my product. That's usually by the time a client gets to me, they're like, they should have had a website 2 years ago. So I'm trying to do some quick stuff. And so what ends up happening is an education process where I have to take them get your mind off of Facebook. Let's get your mind on your message. What are you trying to communicate about who you are? And then when we get that, we understand we need a platform to communicate that on an ongoing basis. That's why you need a website. And in a website, you have a list of your services. You can have an about page that tells way more about it than you can ever put on Facebook or Twitter. Of course, Twitter's only 140 characters. There's no, you got to have a place to send people back from to learn more. So that's what happens with me is the website really becomes the first social media platform that I introduce to clients. And what happens is they think they hear Facebook, they hear Twitter, but nobody's telling them your website is your first social media platform.
And one thing too that most people don't realize is there's a price for free. And the price for free is if Facebook disappears tomorrow, so does all your content.
Yeah.
So you can't put all your eggs in these social media sites and they will disappear tomorrow at some point. I mean, I'm just waiting for it to happen to Facebook because it happened to AOL, it happened to MySpace, and I'm starting to see the chips lining up for Facebook. And if you are putting all of your money into Facebook, you're going to lose. You need to own your content. The only way you can own your content is on your website.
And then the website has the blog, with Kristen's talking about having a blog. That blog is constant communication on an ongoing basis. So whereas you can only tweet 140 characters or your Facebook post should only be so long, have a link from your website to say, read more about this here. Right. And so it's a way for people to still communicate with you outside of that whole urgent, quick, so Facebook and Twitter kind of, fast thing. So owning your content that should be the takeaway for today.
Okay. All right. Did anybody have any questions about this part? Anything?
So do you consider a blog a website, or is a website a website and a blog? Or
You should have a website that contains a blog. So what happens with blogging, like let's say Tumblr, like you said, Tumblr is a separate platform that you can blog on, but so is what's called WordPress. There's also Blogger. There's so many standalone blogs that if you started with a blog first and you didn't have a website to kind of put a shell around it all, you can connect those things to a website. So let's say your website was built on a platform that did not have a blog, you can always link your blog to your website. But what's happening today, especially the way websites are working, is it's best to have one platform that contains all of your information about who you are, as well as a blog inside of it. It's built inside of it. The best recommendation that I can give to you is WordPress. WordPress.org, not .com. I hate to be so technical about it, but just write it down and you can go to WordPress.org and look at the sample sites that they have on their website. They give you people who use their platform. Just look at them and you'll see what I mean. It's not just about having a website anymore, but the blog inside of it. So one platform can give you both if you go with something like a WordPress.
So what is the value then of having a blog?
Establishing yourself as an industry leader, a thought provoker. The number on an SEO piece, it's because it's constantly changing, or should constantly be changing. So you've got if you only have a blog, that's fine. And then you connect it to it. That's connecting it to a website later is not as optimal because, as Lana was saying, you want to have your website because most of our websites don't change on a constant basis, but that blog does. And so what that does is Google's crawling sites, every 24, 48 hours. And if you've always got constantly changing content, it's going to keep you at the top. It's going to always keep, the cream rises to the top. So if you have a website that hasn't been changed, I don't care how much time you spend on it, and that's the other reason why social media sites are so popular is because that's constantly changing content and it keeps it fresh and Google loves fresh stuff. I know we'll get to this later, but like my favorite, for my businesses or for my clients now is Google Plus. We'll get to that later.
We'll get to that later. We'll bring that back in. Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to ask Mitch this. So what do people in general find to be the least user-friendly social media platform, and why do you think that is? Because everybody has something that they don't like. So what is the one that you find people are like, oh, God, I don't like using that?
Okay. I guess my first thought is Facebook. And I'm looking at it from a small business perspective or a business perspective. And so I think, Facebook is just this giant that you can get trapped in and never get out of. So I think that's kind of my first, is that it's too complicated. It's that, what my research has said when I talk to people is that there's a lot of looking that's going on in Facebook. You go to look, you go to watch, you go to, see what people are up to. And most of the time, it's what your counterparts are looking at, your friends, your, competitors. You're just out there looking. And I love this quote, that Facebook is really, people go to Pinterest to take action. You're going to go to Pinterest to purchase, to go get ingredients for a recipe. There are literal action steps that you take when you go to Pinterest. When you go to Facebook, you can get trapped. Mm-hmm. So that's my initial.
And you're saying that, of course, in regards to business, because I get trapped on Pinterest. I was there for like an hour yesterday.
But that's the thing with Pinterest. Pinterest has that sticky factor.
Yes.
And like with my blog posts, I mean, I always have I've got a post that I did last year. It's like creating a pinnable image for your blog post, because it is the stick. Now it does have a high bounce rate, but at the same time, I mean, I'm with Mitch. If I can get rid of one social media site, it'd be Facebook in a heartbeat. It's the bully. I called it today? I said it's the Cuba of social media sites. Yeah, I mean, it's like it looks pretty from the outside, but you don't want to live there because they've made it so impossible. Even when you spend money on ads, I think right now there's some, you guys could speak to this. There's some tweaking going on and behind the scenes with the algorithms, with them changing the Facebook pages. But we're going on 3 weeks now that these Facebook pages were changing, and I looked this morning, and some of our posts, 2 people saw our post, and I know that's not right. Mm-hmm. So the numbers are, and the other thing is too, is the numbers drive small businesses crazy. And they're like, oh my gosh, I only had 3 people see this post. Well, it's probably true, y'all. And even if you're spending money, it's that way. It's just, even when you spend money on ads to boost posts, I ran one for one of my personal blogs last week, and I spent $10 just to boost the post. I had 2 actions out of it. That's it. So 2,000 people saw it. I'm like, that's great. But I only had 2 people do something. You're talking about actions. You're about like it, or they commented on it, or they shared it. So, and that's the ultimate goal with Facebook. And I really think it's going to be in the old Southern, they've been too big for their britches. And now this thing that came out today or Friday about the whole the A/B testing they did with the manipulating of your Facebook posts, they have that control. And it's that, to me, I'm like, I feel like I need to take a shower every time I go to Facebook these days.
Wow. Facebook is Cuba and dirty. I'm telling you, she's learned today.
It's not fair. It's just not fair.
I do want to, and she's mentioned a whole lot of things, the negative side of Facebook, because she knows a lot more than most of you guys. But the one thing you need to understand about Facebook, and it's very simple, there's 2 things you need to know. You need to know somebody who can help you based on what they're saying.
Yeah.
Second thing is you got to be able to use some tools. They have what they call Facebook IDs, Facebook ID scrapers. So you're able to pick an audience based on their demographics and only penetrate them. Then that's also called retargeting, where once they hit that, you take them to your blog, you take them to a website. So you don't sit and play. You just find out based on the interest, because there's not many social medias where you're able to like a movie that they like the foods they eat, the locations they like to go. Based on that, you build up your demographics, you take them out of Facebook, and then you start working with them. Right. That's the most important thing that you need to take from that, because, again, it can change. But your business, again, as Lane said, most of your business is going to be taken outside into what you really are and what you really want to do. But the bottom line is get the right tools, get the right people, and target this 1.2 billion people. Find out who's interested in them based on their IDs and pull them into a place where you can manage them. And that's where the ads come into play. That's where the scraping comes into play. All technology is available to you, but if you don't know, you're going to get stuck in there. You're going to be doing stuff. You're going to be like, wow, should I make it a personal page? Do I have a business page? I mean, all of this stuff doesn't really matter until you know how to use the tool.
It's not the devil.
Yeah. No, but I understand. But I'm just
It just
understand.
makes it so hard for the average.
It's the
small
average person
business.
because it has grown. It has grown into just personal page. And people. And most people are even scared of Facebook because they're thinking that it's all personal and they don't know how to use it for business. So if you don't know how to use it for business, all you're gonna do is personal stuff. So the key is to it. Know what is the advantages of to it. The advantages is you got 1.2 billion people on it. Half of them going every other day. You pick your profiles that you want, and that's done through your Facebook ads. And I'm pretty sure Elaine can tell you how to, pull that out and only target those people because you're talking to everybody else, you're gonna have some problems.
And that's one of the best things. So I'm just gonna plug a class. We have a class called Your Core Marketing Message, and that'll be coming up next month. And so if you want to come to that class, just look on. If you have your sheet right here, that'll just pretty much tell you where to go. But ncsbc.net, that is where all of the courses are listed for GTCC, as well as the other SBCs in the state. So you'll be able to go up here and then just find out what is available and register for all of the classes. So your marketing message is definitely important. And I do want to piggyback on what you said regarding people not seeing your posts, because that had me very frustrated. I'm used to a couple hundred people seeing one post, and then now when I notice on my page, the one that's the most popular, it's 2, 3, maybe 10 people see it, and that does not make any sense, because then when I'm looking at how many people it reached, now it's like 4,000 some people. So how is only 2 people seeing this, but it's reached 4,000 and some people? Those are some of the things where that the numbers are off, and I can always tell when they're doing something because Facebook goes slower.
Yeah.
So if you ever see those times where it's like, why is this picture taking so long to load, right? If you've seen those, they're doing some stuff in the background to hopefully make it better. But if you've noticed anybody that has your fan pages, you should see that the fan pages have changed over. Has anybody noticed that already? Okay. So if you've noticed the difference in the look, you'll have some of the information on the right-hand side now, and then things will be, so it's a little bit more, I don't know, I guess, compartmentalized.
Yeah, it's
than
going to be sterile. It's going to be a lot sterile. The thing you need to understand about Facebook, they are there to make money. So everything is going towards their ad campaigns, and so everything they're going to be pushed. So if you're not spending money, even if you are spending money, according here, they're looking for money to continue to generate. And again, at some point, the gorilla in the room is going to become the little monkey again. So
I agree. But you're right. I mean, and I've been saying, but right now I've pulled our dollar spends for now until they get that tweaked out, because it's not worth it. It's a waste of money right now. But yeah, absolutely. If you aren't spending money, you're absolutely not going to get your stuff seen. So, and it's just being creative and figure out what works. Figure out what your audience likes. As soon as you figure out what your audience likes, stick with it. If your audience likes pictures, don't ever put anything else but pictures. I mean, seriously, they tell you what they want to see.
Yeah, and it definitely makes a difference, because I've seen when we do videos, when we do articles, when we do pictures, which things do people gravitate to the most? And then just one suggestion that I just want to make that I know helps the pages that we do: have somebody else they now change it to editor, an editor on your page, somebody that is going to post information that would be relevant to the business. Because I have people with our page, the naturals.biz page, that are all over the country that post on it, because it makes sense, because they're all talking about the same type of topic. And then that helps the post to be seen on their pages and on the page that we have. So if you have somebody like that you can trust, not that's posting crazy randomness on the page, because those people, you don't let them post, then those are some things that you can do to try to help get your page, get those pictures and those images and anything like that seen, if you have somebody else helping you to manage it as well. And that's not going to work for everybody. Definitely, but if it will work for your business, that may be something that you want to consider. So I want you guys to raise your hand if you have a LinkedIn account. Okay, good. So that's pretty much everybody in here. Okay, raise your hand if you have your Facebook fan page for your business. Okay, all right. So that's a couple. And then, does anybody have Instagram that they use? Okay.
Wow, really?
See, that's why you got to know who's in the room, right?
Wow.
This is what we're talking about. And we'll tell you. That's why I figured if you don't have it, maybe you don't know about it. Anybody have Pinterest? Raise your hand if you have Pinterest. Okay. I see some people in the room that I know need to have Pinterest.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because I know what your businesses are, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then, did I miss anything? Who has Twitter? Raise your hand if you have Twitter. Okay. All right. So that
That's
means that
interesting.
they have your favorite and they have her favorite, but they're missing some other elements.
Yeah, well, what's interesting as well is that 65% of us learn visually.
Yep.
And so Pinterest and Instagram are musts. And if you look at the statistics on Facebook as well, the engagement, when you show a video or a picture, the engagement on those are so much more than just your words.
Yeah.
You just, write out whatever you're thinking or a quote, or if you dress it up, amazing.
Well, and the other thing too is because as a society, our attention span's this big.
Yeah.
We consume so much information that we don't have time. If you're writing these giant verbose status updates on your Facebook page or any other place, stop. Seriously, stop. Nobody's reading it. Maybe your mother. That's it. But that's what your blog's for. That's what something, that's not the situation. But I mean, how many of you own a business that's how many of you own your own business? Let's go. Can I ask that?
Yep.
Okay. How many of you are B2C? So yeah, but most of you are B2B.
You might explain B2C.
B2C is business to consumer, like you're B2C because you sell to a consumer, right? B2B is somebody that's like warehousing, somebody that doesn't deal face to face with clients. Social media is great for B2C. I mean, it's just a natural fit. It works well for B2B as well, but the B2C, like I imagine anybody on B2C should be on, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube. We didn't even talk about YouTube.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about YouTube.
We didn't even talk about
That's
YouTube.
what I was going to ask. Is YouTube considered a part of the
Absolutely.
social
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
the number 2 search engine.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So like what you do, you could have just a field day just doing, it doesn't have to be big, like giant, bringing the video cameras. I mean, everybody's got this now. Shoot this way though. Y'all shoot this way. So go sideways. There's an app for that it will force you to turn it that way because then you can edit it. But, just like making your drinks, those are the things you would be amazed at what people consume when it comes to this stuff. So
Everything that you think is probably like, nobody's watching it.
They are.
Nobody's paying attention to it. I post the craziest stuff, right? And those are the things that people love. I could just pose all nice like this, and nobody pays attention to those. But when I'm like, right, and take those crazy pictures, those are the ones that everybody loves. Which is the same thing with, you'll be amazed. Why do you think cats are so popular? Cats are just some of the most interesting things. I posted one the other day with the cat rubbing the baby's head and making the baby go to sleep, and everybody loved that. That has nothing to do with my business, but it made people stop and look and pay attention.
and the
it
most
makes
important thing is they engage with your
And they
page, and now it's
definitely
going to kick it up in your algorithm.
And it makes you real.
Yeah.
If you're just talking business all day long, or you have to show that you have a pulse and that you have patience, passions and things that you like off the job and that are related. Most of it is those visual, visual things. But there's this other one of the books I'm reading now. It's a little dated, but it's Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And it's
That's a punch.
Jab,
Oh,
that's
Jab,
his latest
Right
Yeah, that's
Hook.
the great
Okay.
guy, right? That's the great guy, right? The great
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
He's the wine
wine guy.
Yeah, I call him the great guy.
The great guy.
Yeah, the great guy. But really the essence of this book is give, ask. So it's give advice, give free, give something of value and of fun, and then ask.
It goes back to why should I have a blog? The question that was asked. That's why you're giving that information away. I guarantee you, for here's 10 ways to make your coffee better. You're going to get more out of that by giving. There's nothing secret to it anymore. They can find it on the internet anyhow.
Exactly.
They may as well find it with you.
And I think the one thing you guys, I don't think most people don't know what is social media. It really is just word of mouth electronically. So as many times people are repeating what you said or actually taking note of what you're saying, it's like your neighbor telling you about a good movie or a good friend telling you about something that they like. It's just being able to do it faster and more means. So it is important. I think content is king. What you put out there, get people to stop and listen, but also just to realize that you need to have fun with it, because if it comes part of hard to do or not able to do, then you need to give it to somebody else that's able to do it, like Lane, and do something different, something that's going to make money for you that you can see. Engage in person with your customer, making phone calls, knocking on doors, things that you like doing. But if social media is a headache, you got to have it, because that's proof that you are out there and being real, as Mitch said. But you have to have it because it is your digital footprint. Because 10 years from now, when somebody's starting to look about how you do business, how you handle business, how you handle rejection, how people don't like you, what they're saying, what you go back and say, and how you do, all that is out there. We tell our college kids nowadays, don't just post anything because you can't get a job.
Job, you can't get into college.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Forget it. You ain't get a job.
So it is your digital footprint, but if it's to a point where it is overcoming or it's too much, have someone help you. And the thing about your competitors having the same issues. So if you learn something, you need to do it today. Don't wait 10 weeks, 10 months. Do it today.
Yeah.
Because if you wait, they're going to have the same waiting period, and so you can be all on top of them. So that's the key.
And to piggyback on what Derrick is saying about your competitors are using it, the thing that I always say when you're trying to figure out which platform is better or what's going to work for my business, if you're not on any of these platforms, but for any reason to find out market information, whatever your product is, it's in an industry, it's in some type of market, whatever you sell. So you go to social media and you type in what your industry is and just see what pops up. You're going to find tweets about people talking about what's going on in your industry. You're going to find Facebook posts about what's going on in your industry. That's why the hashtag has become so popular, because it groups all of those topics together under a pound sign. So now, not only can I go to Twitter and search in specialty coffees or coffees around the world or coffee flavors, I can put hashtag coffee and I'll get even more specific people talking about it on a regular basis. So if you don't go on to Twitter or go on to Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest, but for any reason just to type in your industry to see what people are already talking about, that would be my recommendation. Before you decide what's going to work for your business, see how people are already using it. And that will help you see, well, what do I need to Facebook about? What do I need to post on Pinterest? Because if they're liking these pins on Pinterest, then I need to create something. Can I create something that relates to that or that's similar to that for my own business and get similar engagement? That will help you determine if it's going to work for your business, what's going to work faster for your business, because what you might do is start with one platform and give that your wholehearted attention and focus, and then build on that based on what you learn on that one platform. But I will never say you have to be on this platform, but I will say if you're trying to determine which platform will work for you, go on all of them, not just say, okay, I'm just going to do Facebook. Try all of them out just to search them, just for market research, and then determine, well, gosh, if all these people are tweeting about coffee, I'm going to start with Twitter because I can get some hashtags in here and participate in these conversations and then link them to my website or link them to where my store is or where I'm going to be if I have a mobile cart kind of thing. So you can definitely narrow down your focus if you start with the mindset of where are my customers already, because Facebook may not be where your ideal client is, but you won't know that until you go there and search first. That's what those search bars are there for. Now that Facebook has become more business oriented, you actually get a better quality search result. A couple of years ago that was not the case because people were just coming to Facebook for more personal interaction. So that would be my recommendation, is to go on each platform and go to that search bar. That's your first kind of way to rule out where you're going to start.
All right, now, the next question that I want to ask, because I know we talked about it briefly as far as automating some things, right? And so it's a lot of different ways that you can do to automate your posts and to help you save time. So I'd like to ask each person, what do they prefer as far as automating? And just know that there are multiple services. Some of them only work for one particular platform. Some of them, work for some of everything. And then, of course, with the new things that are coming out, new social media platforms, there will be, of course, more automation services. But Derrick, what do you use? What's your favorite thing to use?
No, I switched too much.
What are you using now?
That's a good question. Cause I just jumped off one yesterday, so let me see.
Would you leave yesterday?
I'm trying to.
Do we need to come back to you?
Yeah, come back, cause I'm
Okay,
trying
we'll
to
come
see
back
which
to you. All right.
one I like to use.
He's changing up. He's trying out some things. But I think that is a good point, though, because it is things that I've tried, and then I'm just like, okay, well, I don't like this as much as something else. So that is a valid point, and we'll come back to you. Okay, so Kristen, what about you?
Hootsuite.
Hootsuite.
Hootsuite for 90. Well, I use Facebook. If I'm scheduling posts, like if on a day like today when I'm going to be out of the office a considerable amount, I use Facebook. Facebook does not like third-party apps, so that's something else to bear in mind. So if you're actually using a Hootsuite to schedule your stuff on Facebook, it's going to get kicked even more into the algorithm. So they have the scheduling ability now, so just go to Facebook to schedule your posts if you have to do it. But without a doubt, Hootsuite. I've tried others in the past, and between the analytics that you get and the fact that they cover like Spruiell is one that a lot of people like, but it only covers a couple of the sites. So I mean, I can literally most all of the sites if I want to use Hootsuite. So
Okay, so Hootsuite. And what about you?
Hootsuite for me, Sprout Social. It's sproutsocial.com for my clients. This is why. When Hootsuite started, it was more convenient and it was cheaper than everything else.
Yeah.
But my clients are holding me accountable to ROI, and sproutsocial.com has way much better analytics than Hootsuite. So I hate to use that term analytics,
but you have to.
So let me explain it. Every time you post something on a social media platform, it's getting tracked. What's getting tracked is what you posted, when you posted, and how many people interacted with that post on all the social media platforms. All of this is being tracked. And that's why we're using the term algorithm when we talk about Facebook. Because what happens is every time someone clicks like, or they leave a comment, or they click that share button on Facebook, all of that goes into tracking. Well, on Twitter, how many times did it get retweeted? Did anyone reply to that? Was this person mentioned? How often were they mentioned? And same thing happens on Pinterest. Every time it gets repinned, or someone leaves a comment or likes a pin, all of this is data. This data is being collected. If you want to see how many people are engaging with you, if you look at that, you can say, well, gosh, my photos are getting 3 times more engagement than my videos, which are getting 5 times more engagement than any links that I share, which are getting 10 times more engagement than just a regular update, then I'm going to post more images. But how do I know that? Well, I had to look at the numbers, I had to look at the charts, I had to look at the data. And so Sprout Social has way more analytics ability than Hootsuite does. Hootsuite's doing it, but they're making you pay for reports, and it's becoming too much games. Right now, if I put my clients on Sprout Social, I know I'm going to get the data, and I'm going to say to them, well, here's your report for this week, and this is what worked. It looks like we need to put more on this platform.
How much does Sprout Social now?
$35 a month.
Okay,
Because basic.
right, and then have they added, because I used to use Sprout, but I use Social Report now.
Okay.
Because they cover like Pinterest, has Sprout added,
Sprout has everything but Pinterest.
has everything,
They have
because
Google Plus.
they have Google Plus now,
LinkedIn.
because when I was using it, was just
They added on.
good, yeah. I've used the same thing though, Social Report, so is another one to check out.
Yeah, Social Report.
But you have to pay.
Yeah, they have Google Plus. Hootsuite you can get on free, and you can use up to 5 profiles for free. But you can upgrade to the pro version for $9 a month.
Which
And-
used to be $5.99.
Which used to be $5.99. But if you add on, if you start today, it's $9 a month. But the reason you pay for that is it keeps track of everything you've tweeted, everything you put on Facebook, so you can reshare some things. And then there are some analytics. If you upgrade to Pro, you can get 3 reports free for the month, and then you can pay for your reports. But to me, the benefit of using a platform to schedule your post is keeping track of it in one system, and it allows you to know how many times something was engaged with during the whole course of a period of time instead of just that one day.
In one area, as opposed to jumping from site to site to site to site to site to site.
To look at everything.
Yeah.
What about you, Mitch?
Well, Val had a question.
Oh, okay.
What are your thoughts about services like Constant Contact and MailChimp?
I'll answer. I'm a Hootsuite loyalist as well. I have tried Buffer, which is another one, but I don't know enough about it. I just kind of dabbled with it.
We don't need it with Alvin. With Hootlet. Hootlet, we don't need buffer.
Oh.
I love buffer.
But to answer Val's question about Constant Contact, MailChimp, and there's another one.
Yeah, Mad Mimi,
Mad Mimi.
Weber, you know, it's a bunch of them.
And basically they're platforms to, how would you describe it?
Email blasts,
marketing, email
newsletters.
marketing. Yeah, broadcast emails. So if you have a newsletter that you want to get out, then I'm a big supporter. I like MailChimp personally better than I've used Constant Contact before, and I've got a couple clients that use eye contact. I've just found MailChimp's very user friendly. It's a personal.
And it's free at first. I mean, for a certain amount, it's free. I mean, for
Yeah,
everything
like
I need
12,000.
on a personal level.
12,000 emails, and then you can have 2,000 contacts. And so what I do to circumvent the system is if you have over 2,000 contacts, you just make another account. And then you have another 2,000 people that you can put in there for free. And that's the thing. And I think based on your question, it's pretty much the interaction that you can have from that email to your social media. And that is really what makes it a lot more valuable, because every time that you do a campaign, is what they call it in MailChimp, they automatically give you a link. It can also broadcast out to your Twitter and to your Facebook pages. And so that makes it a lot easier. If you're still using QR codes, it will automatically give you a QR code for every campaign that you do. And of course, you can put links inside of the actual message, and people can click on those links, and it gives you analytics, like she was saying. So this way you can see what people clicked on. And the great thing is that I love is, you know how people say they didn't get your email? Oh no, you got the email, because I can see that you opened it up, right? And for me, that's one of the best things, because if you say you didn't get it, you know, or if you're, you know, want to see who's being nosy, then you can definitely see that this person opened the email, which, you know, to me makes a big difference as well.
And if they shared it.
Oh yeah, and if they shared it, definitely. So all of that is in there when you have, and MailChimp is my favorite. I do use Buffer app as well. So if you wanted to try that, it's Buffer app. app.com. And that one, the reason I do like Buffer app is because it gives you suggestions for tweets and for messages, not just tweets, but tweets and messages that you can send out. And it's really basing it upon the type of business that you do. So it sees what you're already kind of putting out as far as your content, and then it'll give you things to put into it that would probably make sense for your audience. So to me, that's the good thing that I like about it, that the other ones don't do, and it's also free. So that's another good one. Okay, all right. Now let's see. What's the biggest time waster in social media for you guys? The biggest time waster? Anybody? I'm just gonna ask the audience. What's your biggest time waster? Come on, everybody has one.
I got one.
Okay.
Being one.
All of it.
Oh, come on, it's gotta be something bad.
I'm a bit like Mitch. I'm a huge proponent of LinkedIn.
Okay.
And when I first got started, I looked up, I was there for 3 hours.
Oh, I
So
couldn't
what I
do
do
that.
now is I discipline myself to spend 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night,
Okay.
and that way I'm in a lot more control.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's good.
Easily, almost like easily get there and get lost.
Now, sometimes you have to do that. And then you had a question with yours.
My question is Pinterest.
Pinterest?
I don't get, I'm sorry. I'm not on there as a business owner as of yet,
Uh-huh.
but to go there just as a regular person and looking at everything and you look up, and like I said, 3 hours have passed. And it's crazy. So I guess as a business owner, that might be good for somebody looking at my stuff, but for me looking at other people's stuff, that's
I know, it's very, Pinterest is like everything. I even have my husband on there. He didn't like it at first until they have a bunch of cats. And so, you know, it's the funny cats. I'm telling you, that's like the best thing ever, those funny cats. We even send them back and forth to my friends, and we'll have like cat wars on Pinterest. But that has nothing to do with this class. So let's get back over here. But okay, Pinterest definitely, he said LinkedIn. Is there anything that when you go on there, you kind of get caught and trapped in?
For me, it's Mashable and BuzzFeed.
Okay, so actually going to somebody else's sites, okay? And then that'll segue us into the other question that I was gonna have. What companies do you feel have the best content? And so Mashable, BuzzFeed, what about you guys?
Oh, I wouldn't say BuzzFeed had the best content. It just has the most
you just get
addictive.
lost.
I won't even download the app. That's like my candy for the day. I'm like,
Just to see what's going on?
no, it's all lists. That is just the most brilliant concept ever. Their entire site is nothing but lists, and you see it's in all the and all those quizzes on your Facebook. It's like,
top, this and
yeah,
that. I know, I get
yeah.
lost in there.
Oh my
I get lost.
God.
I get lost. I'm like, oh my
Like,
goodness.
stop, gotta go.
Damn. Yes, okay. But what companies do you follow?
I don't follow companies as much as I do
Or
people.
Okay.
And Jenny Dietrich, Mark Schaefer, Mitch Joel, Social Media Today as opposed to Examiner. I mean, I do like Examiner. Again, that's a great site as well. But Social Media Today, gosh, I have a whole little. That's enough for me. I've got a whole folder of them. But
Okay, all right. Derrick, what about you?
I don't really follow like that. I mean, I follow people, as you mentioned before. Most of them are more business people, like Grant Cardone. It's like he's more of a how to do business person more than social. I understand social media, so I don't really.
You don't follow the people.
I used to be on the cutting edge of everything. I mean, if it came out, I already knew before it came out. Now I'm just trying to find people who are strictly about business and doing business, because I know what to do. You just got to do it. And a lot of times I need that motivation, to do it. Stay above my competition, do what I have to do, understand what business is, understand my marketplace. Those are the things I already know. And like I said before, social media, all it is a footprint. So if I post something, fine. If I don't post something, fine. I just got to do what I got to do. So it's all about business. And this is a great thing to understand that, hey, you can spend all your day trying to figure out what you're going to do. But if you don't do what puts things in the mailbox, those checks, then you kind of wasting your time. So that's what I'm saying, that you need to hire somebody that understands that, can give you what you need to have in place, and put those 10 steps or 3 steps or 4 steps, things you have to do every day. And social media may be a part of that, may not. You may be, I don't know what business probably doesn't benefit from social media, but there are some that I'm pretty sure that don't. So don't do anything that's not going to make money for you. I mean, you really got to realize what's going to make money for you, because at the end of the day, you might got a beautiful Facebook page and you broke.
Oh.
I mean,
I just thought that deserved the all after.
I mean, just really. I mean,
that is very true.
That's true, because we go one way or the other. It's not been balanced. It's been abundant. You know what I'm saying? I could care less. What you did yesterday. It's how, what did you produce? And that's where I'm at. I love social media. I mean, I used to get all in, but now it's about what are you producing? Forget, let's get down to the tack of, what are you producing? And if it's not doing what you need to produce, then you need to do something different. And social media may be it. It may not. You may not be ready for social media. I mean, to be just what we're presenting to you. All 4 or 5. YouTube to me is probably the easiest to get on, because you can take these 30-second things when you get up, post it, and you're done. She mentioned the second search engine. We haven't even talked about content and how to use content. You may produce something and not have the right keywords to get seen. So you're wasting. You may have something people are looking for blue, and you're posting a red. Guess what? You're never going to be seen, because you don't know what to put in the search engine or put in your content to make it visible and what's the word I'm looking for? What people are looking for. If they're not looking for what you have out there, you're really wasting your time in there. So I think Lane made it very important. You got to research to find out what's available, what people are really going towards, and it's no time to be a hero and start your own way. Do what others are doing, but do more than they're doing. And that's what I'm saying. I'm doing what others are doing, but I'm doing more. And if you're not doing more, you're going to be right there with everybody else. You won't be a leader. You'll be in a pack. You'll be hard to be seen. And then at the end of the day, you just did what everybody else did, fighting for the next dollar. And that's not where you want to be.
So now, Lane, who are you following? Or who do you, companies or people when you're looking online?
I think that I'm a content first person. Like, I know you come to me for social media, but we're going to talk about what you're putting out there. And what you're putting out there is what Chisa is asking us. What content is already out there that you gravitate towards? If someone were to ask you that question, your first response, or you might not say this, but your first thought, because mine was my own content. My own content, I'm putting the most time and effort into making sure that what's on the internet that represents me and my business is given the most attention. I'm editing it. I've become obsessed with it. I hate it when I see a typo. I will quickly edit it.
Oh my God, I hate that.
Me too. But the thing is, if you're not obsessed with your own content, what you're putting out there, nobody else is going to be. So first and foremost, I look and see what I'm putting out on my website, on my blog, and then I say, okay, what's going to make this better? Who can I follow as an expert or an authority that's going to teach me how to put a better message out there through my own site? And so now I've become a better writer. I've become a better communicator with my clients because bigger brands are doing this faster, bigger, better than me, and they have a bigger budget. So why do I need to waste my money doing something like Derrick said? There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Let the brands who are already kind of leading the way give you an idea of how to jump right in there and participate in those conversations. Because you're a little bit leaner and you don't have as much fat and overhead, you can get to your market much faster following their example. But you got to have a source. Where you need a hub. Your website and your blog should be your first primary source of content that you create yourself, create your own content. That's what I'm all about. And then how do you make that better? That's when you go follow these authority sites. So since we're talking about social media today, social media day, the first thing I'm going to say to you, and I say this to all my clients, none of us are going to have all the answers about social media, these platforms, right? But guess where you can go on every single social media platform, and Pinterest just did it recently. Every platform has a business blog for their platform. So on Facebook, it's facebook.com/business. On there is everything Facebook wants you to know about how to use Facebook. There's case studies, there's how to get started, there's how to use the ad platform. Facebook created it. So it's their platform, why not learn from them? Pinterest, it's business.pinterest.com. That has become my favorite blog. When you talk about who am I following, because I love the way Pinterest is using their own pinners, and not just big brands anymore. Even everyday people who are pinners, they're putting them in their case studies and featuring them on their blog. So it's business.pinterest.com. Twitter is business.twitter.com. Twitter has done a great job. They're putting more videos in their content. They're really showing you how to take advantage of Twitter on their platform. Twitter's telling you, not Lane, not anyone else. Learn it from the source. LinkedIn is linkedin.com/business. Every platform has one. Google owns YouTube, so you want to go to Google's platform to find out about YouTube and Google+. Instagram has a business blog. It's business.instagram.com. So each one of them have a business blog that you can learn the individual platforms on. That's going to teach you a couple of things. One, what is this platform going to be doing next? It's also going to teach you how to blog about your own business, right? Because somehow what happens with those blogs is you're learning how to use the platform better, and so now you're going to be thinking, okay, well, if I'm on Pinterest and I have to have a longer image this way than a short one, then I'm going to turn my blog post into an image to get people to click it and come back, because I learned on the Pinterest blog that's what I need to do. So you're going to learn how to use the platform, and you're going to learn how to create your own content specific for those platforms to make it do well.
And I think those are excellent points, because I definitely follow those and look at those as well. So now, Mitch, who do you follow, or what are you looking for?
I really like Mitch Joel. He's just got a great first name. Brian Solis, it's Solis. And then there's Ryan Deese. I think his is the digital marketer.
Right.
And it's Deiss. And then, those are the kind of names or authors, writers. And then I'm constantly reading or studying psychology. You know what? I'm not a big follower of his.
Really?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Gary Vee
I've
doesn't
got
put out that much new stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's good for
Beginning.
exactly.
Beginning.
Yeah.
I've got my reasons, but I'll keep them to myself, or you can read the blog. But I'll read a lot about the psychology of buying, or psychology of. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about people. If people want to buy and do business with and connect with people that they can trust, that are real. And so a lot of that plays a part in our mind and the psychology of people and connecting with brands. Let's face it, we're all a brand, individually and as well as a small business brand. So that's what's real important to me as far as following and studying.
All right, now something I like PR Daily. I love Mashable because I'm always going to find something random that's just going to come up. And I love Huffington Post because they always post, of course, because it's a newspaper, so many different varied topics. And then within them, you can go and click on specific things that you're interested in. And then I follow a bunch of other people for specific niches and genre. And then that's not necessarily all specifically business, but they go for this particular topic. And I think that makes it a lot more interesting because you find somebody else. Instagram has been one of the things which has made me follow a lot more people lately, though. And that's because it's very easy to like a picture. Right? I like it. And then, if you see something that's really great, then you can go through and see who the original person was that posted it, see if you like their stuff, and then follow them. And I think for me, that's been one of the biggest things that's helped me to kind of follow people. So now I have a super fun question. All right. If you could create an app, what would it be and what would it do? So I'm going to start with you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Yeah, I knew I was going to start with him. Next time I know, if ever, we don't put him on the side. I thought he was,
To the left.
That's a tough one. I think the thing that I juggle with the most, it's funny, we were having this conversation in the office. I need a custom app that keeps track of my stuff, my stuff. So it would be a hybrid of, and a lot of people would say Evernote, but a calendar, a to-do list, an agenda. I mean, it's like I would like to take a bunch of apps and make one perfect app. And because it took me years to realize that I'm a pen and paper person as much as I'm a techie. And so I wish there were an app, maybe I wish there was an app that I could write, but not like with a
stylus.
Yeah, that would actually, I could still scratch it out. And with being at the business, running 2 blogs and a family of 5, I'm always on the go, and something that would make my life easier and organized. I'm hyper anal with wanting to be organized because I have to be because I'm on the go so much. So I didn't really answer that question, but that's my dream. Utopia's an app that would organize me.
Are we calling it Utopias?
Kristentopias.
Kristentopias is her app. Okay,
Wow.
Kristentopias. Okay, what about you, Lane? What would your app do, and tell us what you would call it?
I think mine would be created more out of a frustration that I have with Instagram. It's very specific. I just want to be able to pre-schedule to Instagram. Because right now, they won't let any of the pre-scheduling apps in because they don't want to mess with the quality of Instagram content. So that app would let me pre-schedule my posts on Instagram just like I can everywhere else in the world. And I think that would help me as a business owner, get my content out there faster. Because right now I have to use the app, which slows me down, which cuts out on the whole, you have to be real time when you're on Instagram. That's the only drawback, which is a good thing, but it's also a bad thing when you have multiple things going on at one time like we all do.
Okay, so can I help you with that?
Yes.
So they do have an app for that, and it's called Schedulegram. Schedulegram. And then this way you can do exactly that. So your app's already here. Yay.
Wow.
Because that was my frustration. So me, I'm a researcher. If it drives me crazy, I can't. I have to find, because I know somebody else has that same crazy desire to have things ahead of time. But it's schedule. So SCHE Graham.com, and then this way you can do it. Your first account is $10, and then it goes up after that. And I think it's 5 accounts you can do for $35 for the month. But I promise you, it has saved me so much time. And it's a wonderful thing. So your app is here. Boom. Okay. All right. So what about you, Mitch?
It's a great question. I'm going to say one that I thought, it's actually probably, it's already out there. It's probably a capability of Twitter and Facebook already, but I would have one that is called One. And it's a way that you can communicate and gather that one thing that is going on in your life at that moment. So it's almost taking Twitter down to one. You know, like I would say that, you know, earlier I was, you know, honored, you know, so I could go in here and say honored, you know, just at one. And then now I'm having fun, you know, or, you know, I might say Instagram or something. I don't know. Something that it's just, you know, we live in an ADD world, whether we like it or not. I mean, and these things right here, I mean, they are, look, we all have them out here. We're supposed to be sitting on a panel answering questions, and we're up here typing and tweeting and things like that. We're trying to do multiple things. So I don't know. That's just that one, you know, what's your one thing right this moment?
Yeah,
something
good.
like that. But I mean, Twitter does that. It's just, I feel like I got to come up with 100 more characters, right? So there's that. Now, this just occurred to me that Kristen, there's one. It's actually one of my favorite. I'm just starting. I've probably been on it for about 4 months, and it's called Refresh. It's called Refresh. And what it does is it basically, you have to let it have access to everything, almost like Hootsuite. You have to have, you know, let it have access to your contacts, let it have access to your calendar. And what it does is it sends you reminders, but it also says, hey, you have a meeting coming up. And so I'll put the 3 of their names in to my Refresh or on my calendar, and it'll actually send the 3 of their LinkedIn profiles to me. And it also is a to-do list. So I'm a pen and paper person, obviously, but so I've been playing with it a little bit, and I actually really like it. I like the concept.
Yeah,
So
one of the ones I've been trying, we were talking about, is called Easily Do, and it's a kind of does that, kind of digs through everything. Like if you have reservation emails, if you've got, you know, new contacts, and it'll go through and it'll, like, you know, when you have multiple contacts with the same person, it kind of does that. And it's $50 a year. And I'm not willing to commit to that yet, but it's $5 a month. So I'm like, okay, well, let me try it out for a couple of months at $5 a month, and if it makes my life easier. And then so far, but I'm gonna check out Refresh.
Yeah.
And since the problem too is I'm always looking for that new, and there's so many apps, it's overwhelming.
Right. The other thing it does is it like in about 3 hours, it'll send me a text saying, are there any special notes from today's meeting
Well, that's
with
pretty cool.
Lane that you want to make? I don't ever do it. But it's a nice idea. I just don't have time.
Derrick, what is your app?
My app is going to be called Really. Like when I'm doing stuff I ain't got no business in doing, it's like, really, you know, like you could be doing something else, but you choose to do that. You know, just it's more like somebody behind me, or, you know, like.
So like if you're on the computer.
Or like if I'm anything, if I'm just time wasting, and it's like, really.
There is a site, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but you can do that. It'll kind of check out your browsing history, and then almost sets like a calendar for you. And if you and you can tell it, God, I can't remember what it's called now, but you can say, I only want 5 minutes on Facebook, and it'll lock you out and be like, let's go, you got to move on. And so it's pretty cool because I couldn't use that because, you know,
you would just have to stop working.
I'd have to stop working.
I was thinking something just like if I'm watching TV or just something I know I need to be, and it's like, really. Really?
You can't, yeah.
What's that? Your wife?
Your wife?
Yeah, I got that.
See, my husband doesn't do that because he keeps me quiet. He's like,
whatever.
She's occupied.
That was too much. Okay, so now I want to open it up to you guys because I'm sure you have some questions, and you know, after you've amassed all of this wonderful knowledge, I'm sure that there's something that you want to chime in on. Catherine?
I'm at the age where I know that the social media is not going to do it all. People still need to see you
you still need to talk to people. They need to know you're a real person. And one of the challenges I'm having is figuring out what the right balance is. I don't know if that changes from person to person. And quite frankly, sometimes it's just me. I don't want to be bothered with all this stuff. It's just easier to call somebody on the phone, schedule the appointment, and go in. So I think that's one of the observations that I have with it. I do enjoy it. I enjoy it personally. But I'm trying to find that right balance of how much time is it worth to invest. I'm with you. At the end of the day, it comes down to what have I done to help get a check in the house. So that's the issue. But then it's hard to know whether the 3 hours I spent has some value. It has to have some kind of value, I guess, to me. I don't know how to make that determination. I don't know if there's something.
The thing with social media is it's the new, it's like the new website. Remember 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when it was like, I've got a website. Now you're like, everybody's got a website.
Right.
That's where people are coming to your social media sites to check you out before they will even do this. And I guarantee you, each one of us, if we didn't know each other, as soon as we knew who was on the panel, we checked each other out on our social skills, especially with what we do. One of my biggest pet peeves is companies who claim to do what I do. And then you go to their website and you pull up and they have blogs that haven't been touched in 2 years. They have a Twitter stream that's old and dusty. They don't, all they do on Facebook is sell. And it's an insult to me and the time that I've spent over the past 6 and 7 years honing my craft. So people are going to check me out, and if I'm not spot on, I expect them to pass me by. That's by the same token, I get very upset when I hear people winning business who I know are not nearly as good as me. So, you know, it's just, you think of it, that's your digital resume. That's your digital billboard that if I want to do business with you, I'm going to check you out first. And I can do it. That's why, you know, our connected consumers, they're walking on car lots these days. They already know. They already know what they're going to buy. They've done the research. That's why, you know, I don't know if any of you guys know Tracy Myers over in Winston-Salem, but he's Myers Auto, great friend of mine, but he's a brilliant brander, and he has turned that whole thing upside down. He, like, their salespeople are not commissioned salespeople. Why? Because most of us know what we're going to buy before we even get there.
Right. The other thing, you know, I think everybody needs to just kind of really focus on, just clear your mind out. Don't worry about yesterday, because you can't do anything about yesterday. And what you do today in social media, you have to consider is what's going to happen for you in the future. Okay, it might be 5 years, 10 years, because you build it. But today you have to do something to prepare for, you know, the future. You know, when it comes to social media, you can't go back. You know, you go to Facebook and you see the history of, you know, you started in 2007 and all that stuff. Who cares? You know, you can't go back and, you know, you could go back and start playing, but that's hours and hours. But I think the most important thing she said is that, you know, we're looking for your credibility. You know, and as you go through life in this thing, you know, once I meet you and it's time to sign the dotted line, either I like you or I don't like you. That's really going to be the bottom line. You know, like I said, I don't know Lane, but I know Lane. You know what I'm saying? I know that what she does is, I mean, when I'm talking to somebody and say, you know what, Lane's going to do something for me, I'll say, make sure Lane does that for you. It's the bottom line, you know, because some of this, I'm to the point now, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't like to work with startups for the simple fact you have to ride that emotional roller coaster with them. Because when they have money, it's great. When they don't have money, you still have to ride that roller coaster with them to get them where they need to be. I don't have I don't have the patience anymore to ride that, because there's some things you got to put in it before you get to a 3-year company, you know? And so if my energy is up and down, because I'm invested with you, and I just noticed that I'm not as productive going up. And Chisa and I have talked about this. I don't do well when the customer's not doing well. You know, I can only do my part. And when the checks are late and all that stuff, and I gotta make excuses and stuff,
don't do well when the checks are late.
I don't do well. So that I already know what things that make me grow. What I'm saying to you is you have to know where you are in your business. Period. Because when you know where you are, you can do what you need to do. If you don't know where you are, and I think they're very, very clear, social media is just going to clutter your day. It's just going to make you less effective. Okay? But the key is you don't ever do less, do more. You need to add social media to this mix. I don't know how you need to do it. You need just 1 hour less sleep, one less coffee, whatever your time wasted. I'm talking about, don't do that. Find something else to do. Find social media. Take 15 minutes a day. I guarantee your competitor is not even doing 15 minutes. Because he's probably just as frustrated as the rest of us when it comes to all of this stuff we have to get done today.
Do we have any more questions? I have 2 Facebook pages. I have my personal page, and then I have my company page. I have someone, David Kirpin with Likeable Local, that's running the business page, and they do their posts and things like that. They put me in a category called food and beverage. And a lot of their posts are basically food and beverage, but they know I'm in the coffee industry, and I don't get many posts, hardly no posts concerning coffee, because to me, coffee is an industry all its own. So I'm not really happy with that, but I'm finding that my personal page gets more likes and more shares than my than my company page.
Right.
So should I have everything go through my personal page instead?
No, absolutely not. No, you need to keep it as a business page. And they may not be able to do as coffee because it may not be a category.
Yeah, it's
I mean, there that limitation.
Let's see. You have a mobile cafe. That's one page. Is that the one they're posting on? Facebook.com/a mobile cafe. They're posting on this one.
And they also post to my Twitter. I have a Twitter business page. And one of the posts they did, Frank Meekins from WFMY News 2 responded to it. So I was kind of excited about that. But it was not related to coffee. It was related to something about dysphagia and something.
The other thing I want to, and this is, I'll let them hash it out, let them decide if they make sense or not. I've been taught and told that it's better to have, you can really have one personal page with Facebook, but I always have a personal page that I do business on. So it's like Todd Spruiell. My name is Derrick Todd Spruiell. So you're going to get more you get more out of your personal page than your business page.
Yeah.
So I just, and it's strictly business on that one. It's strictly business. But I have a regular one, Derrick Todd Spruiell, with my family pictures and all that stuff on it, and all my friends. But I have another personal page that I do business on, because you don't get the interaction from your business pages. They're still messing with it. And so I only post to that right there. So what I'm saying is, don't do any of this business on your regular personal page. Set up another personal page with a real name. Don't do any fictitious name. Put all the information in there. But that's what you do business on. Okay. That's just what I've been told. Now I'm taught and I do that. So we'll let them see what they thought about it. And that's just my guys when it comes. I know these guys are experts and they understand a little bit, but I just do a little different because I got a target market I go after, and I do that on that business personal page. Now I have fan pages and that kind of stuff, but that's just that. But when I go after business, I use another personal page that's Todd Spruiell, and I go after them now.
So there's a difference between the fan page and business page.
Correct.
No.
No.
There's a difference between a business page and a personal
page.
profile.
Right.
Like if someone from Facebook was here and they found out you did
That's
against
their
Against their
T&Cs.
So y'all didn't hear that. Y'all didn't hear that. I'm just telling you that, that's the back door. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it real. Everybody can't do what I do. I'm just gonna tell you that now, because I take a lot of risks. But that one page, if it's sad to go down, that business page, I'm okay with that, because I'll create another one, and it's not really linked to my other personal or my other business page. It's just a personal page. But I know that I get the hits more on that page than my business page.
Now with my business page with Likeable Local, I have a portal where I can go in and do my own posts concerning coffee or whatnot. And they said if I do it through the portal, then it gets boosted. If I don't do it through the portal and I do it from my phone, then it's not going to get boosted.
Well, they want you to do everything in their platform. I mean, that's how they do.
Well, I very log onto a laptop. I do everything from my income.
Right.
And with my website, I haven't done a lot with I do have a blog connected to my website, but I haven't put anything on it since December. And the reason being is because I do everything from my phone, and I can't put stuff from my phone to the website. I've got to log onto the laptop to have access to my website.
One of the things that Lana and I were just talking about, and if you go back to what Chisa, how she introduced each one of us, I think every single one of us had one word in common other than social media. Does anybody know what that word was?
I do.
Strategy. And you know the old saying, even a blind squirrel gets a nut sometimes. Seriously, if you just throw stuff at the wall, at some point something might hit it.
Everybody.
I'm looking at it right now.
That's the
Exactly. You know, I mean, you have got the first thing that, Grace is our summer intern. That's one of the things that she's working with me on is every single one of our clients that come to us, it's about strategy. And if you don't have a strategy, and even if it's as basic as an editorial calendar, and even if that editorial calendar is only as basic as it's January, let's talk about New Year's resolutions. February is Valentine's Day. Let's talk about love. I love coffee, and I love this, and I love that. I mean, even if it's that basic, it gives you a theme, and it starts there. If you can't come out with a full-blown strategy of where you want to be, it's a roadmap. You wouldn't try to get from here to Las Vegas without a roadmap, even if we have an app, right? So you've got to have a plan in place. And if you take the time to shut yourself down and come up with that plan, you will find that what you're trying to do for your business is so much more clear and so much better and so much easier for yourself. Mm-hmm. So stop what you're doing now, or keep doing it, but truly come up with a strategy. And if you can't afford somebody to bring them in, it's not the same, but I mean, there's a lot of information at your fingertips. You either pay with your time or you pay with your dime. Mm-hmm. And you've got to figure, you can do it. It'll take you a lot longer doing it on your own than hiring someone like us, but you can do it. You just have to have a plan.
And the key thing is that she mentioned for hiring or not, you still have to know what you're doing. Because again, we can take you down a rabbit hole you wouldn't plan on going.
Exactly. I mean, you hire somebody, like you're talking, we all know this, but if you don't have a basic understanding, there's a lot of unscrupulous people out there. Shocker. Yeah. But I was telling Grace on the way over. Yeah, absolutely, because it's getting a little bit better now, but 3 years ago it was really, really bad. With people that are like, I'm a social media guru, I'm a social media expert. And it's because the economy was in the tank and everyone's like, I've got a Facebook page. That's great. That doesn't mean you know what you're doing. It's about content and it's about marketing. Yeah. It's whether you wrote your book on a typewriter 50 years ago, whether you wrote your book on your iPad, you're still writing words to get your message across. This is a platform. It's not rocket science.
Exactly. And there'll be new platforms.
Absolutely.
And I think Lane mentioned those things. The analytics, we hate that word as marketers because we really can't tell when we're doing good or when bad. So a lot of times I walk away from business because I don't see the analytics where I can actually show. If you say I want you to do this and this, if I can't go back and show you the ROI, there's no use to me doing it because I don't get any clarity. I just took your money because we're looking for results, but most people are looking for ROI. Well, how many people looked at my post? It doesn't matter how many people looked at your post. If two people looked and they bought, then it was worth it.
It was a win.
Yeah, but the fact is, most of us say 1 or 2 people up, but how many people bought? How many people actually you engage with? How many appointments you get? Those are the things you're looking for. It is hard to do that with just plain social media. So if your strategy is not to pull something out of the media, take it to the next level, do the face-to-face, do the calls, do the emails, do whatever to engage that customer, you're just wasting your time and your money. So I
think that is an excellent point, though, because what I do with a good majority of my clients is we usually try to focus something around a specific time or an event, because then I can measure it. Yeah. Because I know. So like with this event to me is 100% because my goal was to get 20 people in the room. We had 21 people register, and then somebody came in that wasn't even on the list. So for me, we did this in 2 weeks, marketed online, strictly online. We never printed a flyer out to go anywhere. We never I never called anybody. Actually, none of us except for Derrick have even talked on the telephone during this time. It was an email. It was let's talk on Twitter and everything. So within a 2-week time frame, I got the numbers that we were anticipating to get. Everybody's here. And so for me, that's how I kind of look at things. And I think that, that could be a way for you to be able to physically measure something is if you have something tangible for people to buy, or if you had a goal in mind as far as, sales or even emails. Like if you wanted a certain amount of people to subscribe at a certain time, for me, that's important because now you may not buy today, but I can contact you later. And sending emails. So Betty, I just talked to her on Facebook this morning, and she was like, I've been wanting to come to something. Val, I haven't seen him since August last year. And, how did you come? I'm sure you either saw it on LinkedIn or you saw email. What did you see?
Yes.
Okay, right? So, that's the thing. Once you connect with people in one way, they like what you're doing, they like your brand, you will get them back at some point in time. They just may not necessarily pay or be a customer today, but they will translate into something that's of value to you. Because even if they can't make it, a lot of times people will share the event, right? So think about it, I guess, sometimes in those terms.
Define your win, because, it may be that they go and tell someone, hey, I heard this about this app or this other thing while I was at the social media, day. Well, what was that about? And they go back, and you don't know that. So that's the frustrating part for us is we can't track everything. Everything. Those connections that are made.
But what we can do today is tell you, please take out your phones. So who's on Twitter? You tell me you're on Twitter. What I'd like you to do is go ahead and follow everybody that's up here today. And then if you're on Instagram, I know the two of you have Instagram. You got one too?
Yes.
Okay, so I need to follow you. Derrick, you're not on Instagram. Okay, so no, he's not taking a bunch of pictures. That's because he has a teenager, so I'm sure that she takes
She's on
pictures.
Instagram.
Yeah, see, that's what I figured. Yeah.
But,
so this way, follow everybody, because the thing is that we do amazing things outside of being in here. In addition, we would like you to share your Twitter or your Instagram, so you can write it on the board back there. And then my suggestion to you is take a picture and then go ahead and take the time to follow people that were in this course today, because everybody that's in here came really for the same reason, to improve themselves. And so this way we can keep connected, because it may not be a telephone. I'm not a telephone person anymore. I talk so much everywhere else that I don't want to talk on the phone. But I will be online pretty much all day and all night. And I've seen these guys on there too. So it's more than one way to connect, and it makes it a lot easier to share information. You were going to say something?
I was going to say LinkedIn as well.
Yes.
I would love to connect with folks on LinkedIn.
Okay, I'll make a thing for LinkedIn up there too.
So when do you sleep?
Oh, I sleep. And you know what? I just made a post this morning because I decided about 2 months ago that I was going to adjust my life, because I felt like I was getting up too late and there was things that I was missing. So for some strange reason, I guess me saying that made my body say, oh, okay, girl, we're going to get up early in the morning. So around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, no later than 6, I always wake up. I can't help it. So for 30 minutes during that time frame, 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how interested it is, I'm on Instagram usually. And so I have messages that I want to send out. It's things that I want to look at. So I do that and post my stuff. Then when I wake back up at around 7 something in the morning, it's so many likes and so many shares at that time. And that makes me happy every day. So that's one of the things. But I've learned, there was actually an article out that I think I shared on LinkedIn the other day. And they were talking about the most productive people and how they work. And they were talking about violinists. And they were saying that violinists, for the most part, the most successful ones, will practice no more than 90 minutes. And then they'll take a break. So that is actually, when I thought about it, that's exactly how I work, because it's an overload if you do too much. So 90 minutes, and sometimes you're not even thinking about it, you're not conscious of it, and then I take a break. So that may mean I get some lunch, or, I randomly look at something, even if it's still online, but maybe it's not work, something that just kind of breaks up the monotony of just working all day long. And that, to me, is what works. So, and then, of course, like I was talking about with Lane, I schedule a lot of things. So there's plenty of things that come out that I've already taken the time for that I don't even need to think about because I know that they're already scheduled. Like I could tell you everything for this week that needs to go on my Lady Business page is already done. And I don't even have to think about it. Everything is stuff probably posted right now. And we're in here. And that's just because you have to take the time at some point in time. So like Derrick said, I do. On a Sunday or a Monday or whatever day, I sit for 30 minutes to an hour and say, this is the message that needs to go out this week. And what I've done is segmented my days. So on Tuesdays, it's Talk Tech Tuesday. So everything that goes out on there is related to technology. And then on Thursdays, it's Think Tank Thursdays. So then I put things that are kind of thought-provoking. They still have, to do with social media or women or business. But it still is, the message is pretty much consistent with what I want to put out. So it's already done. So if I'm in Facebook, Facebook has its own scheduler inside of there. If you ever look at your Facebook message, it's a little teeny clock down at the bottom of every message. But it only works on your fan pages. So you can do that. So I schedule out the whole thing. And I usually schedule things every hour or every 30 minutes. And then it makes it easier for me. So this way, like if it's a day like today where I know I'm not in the house or, at a computer on a regular, it's still, the business is still running regardless of the fact of me being here and not posting anything physically because it's already done. And then, like I said, Buffer app. I stopped using my Hootsuite as much. But what I do use is Twuffer for my tweets to go out, and that's super easy. It's like, here, click the date, click the time, and the message, and it goes out. So, but that only works for Twitter. So, it just depends. Any more questions? Questions?
Sure. I'd like to hear some tips about how to make your content more interactive so that people are increasing their interaction, shares, and likes.
So one thing that I want to send to you before everybody has this, right? You have your 50 ideas to help you connect with followers, right? And I figured that somebody was going to have a question similar to that. So one of the things people do is they can't figure out what they want to post, right? You have a business, but it's like, well, what do I post? This is 50 ideas to help you think about things to post, and then you can kind of build off of them. So one of the things you mentioned was the list. It's on there. And so if you look through it's no reason you can't find something to post out of these 50, even if you're not going to do all of them, but you should be able to find something about your business to post. And then Mitch.
Yeah, I was going to say we tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
We're all storytellers. We all love a good story. And so one of the important things to